Okay. So hello everyone. Welcome to Learn Blockchain, the 5-day challenge. Okay. So let me take this opportunity to welcome people who are joining from different streams right now. People who are joining from YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. You can go ahead and see that in the chat there is a link for the Zoom session, right? So there is a Zoom link and the Zoom passcode, which is pinned, which will be in a blue bar, right? So go ahead, click there and join in the Zoom session so you can have a better interaction. Okay, great. So how many of you are super excited to begin? Right? Type Y in the chat box. Right? Okay. Thank you so much. Yes, we have Mahesh, Mala, Siddhant, Rahul. We have a lot of people coming in. That's really nice. Okay. So let me spotlight for everyone. Great. Okay. So the structure for the day is going to be like this. We are going to learn about blockchain, the origin of it. And today, towards the end, this is because it's a special day, we'll be creating confidence in so many people who are trying to become blockchain professionals, right? So that is our major intent. Towards the end of the 30 days, we want to make make people feel that this is something that they can embark upon, start upon, right? So how many of you are excited? Type me in the chat box. Right? Great. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. So now what we're going to do is for the first 5 minutes, we do this technique called the Open technique, right? In this technique, what we will be doing, it's a technique popularized by Hawaiian people. It is something which will remove the negativity and self-doubt in people, right? So it's proven. It is based upon 4 high vibration words. So I would be doing that. If people who are joining us, again, like it's not your first time, you'll know it, but many people in our community have gained a lot of benefit from this particular exercise. So this particular exercise requires you to stay in a calm and focused place and be out of distractions, right? So in this particular exercise, you are going to talk to yourself, your spirit, and your energy, right? So you have to repeat after me. So I would request everyone to close your eyes. Right? Yeah, so people who have joined on YouTube, go ahead and join on the Zoom link, right? Okay, so put your hand on your heart. I'm going to use my name, Sachi, and you are going to use your names. So don't try to say it in the mind, try to say it out loud, okay? Okay. I'm really sorry, Sachi, for not taking care of you. I'm really sorry, Sachi, for not taking care of you. I am so sorry, dear Sachi. Here I'll take my name, you take yours. I'm so sorry, dear Sachi, for disconnecting with you. I'm so sorry for leaving you alone. I am the one who judges you so much. I am the one who criticizes you so much. Please forgive me, dear Sachi, for underestimating you. Please forgive me for not believing you. Thank you, dear Sachi, for letting me have this beautiful experience of life. Thank you so much. From now on, it doesn't matter who doesn't love you. It doesn't matter who doesn't appreciate you. I promise you, from now on, I love you, dear Sachi. I am here and I would never let you go again. Okay? So slowly open your eyes and rub your hands and put that energy to your face. Okay, great. So how's everyone feeling? Can you give me just one word? How did this technique called the Open technique made you feel? Right? Can you give me one word? Relaxing, calm, peaceful, Amazing. Awesome. Great. So thank you so much for all the words. So we have people who have joined us on YouTube. You can see that there is a Zoom link there. Click there and join on Zoom. Okay. So let's begin. So this will be an interactive session. You can interact on the chat, and if there's anything, you can unmute and interact. Okay. So let me know when my screen is visible to you. Okay. Great. So learn blockchain. So this is the day one. So how many people here are from non-technical backgrounds? Type N in the chat box so that we know that how many people are there from a non-technical background. Yes, Sham. Yes, Prashant. No worries. Yes. Rohan says me. Okay, that's not a problem. So we'll cover from the basics, people who are aware about it. Because the first day we'll cover from the basics. So in this particular session, we are going to understand the need and evolution of blockchain. So why was blockchain necessary? Okay, right? So let's begin. Now the agenda is like this. We are going to understand the origin and evolution of money. And then we'll learn about this trigger event, which is the 2008 financial crisis. And then we'll understand the origin of blockchain and cryptocurrencies. Okay, great. So first about the evolution of money. Now, many people know that this is how money has evolved, right? Earlier in 6000 BC kind of a period, people were doing exchange of goods. Like if I had meat, somebody had grain, so we used to exchange, right? But there were a little challenge, like because I required a little grain, but I cannot give half of my goat or partial of my goat to somebody else, right? So that was a major challenge with barter, right? So that continued for some time, but then you cannot, the challenges were you cannot actually keep carrying all your, logistically, all the material, either be it seeds, pulses, or animals along with you, right? So that's a challenge. So how many of you agree that's a challenge, like carrying all of animals, grains, and everything along with you, right? Type me in the chat box. Do you think that's a challenge? Yes, you think. Yeah. Thanks, Vasu. Thanks, Ramesh. Great. So now what happened later? Then there were coins and metal coins that came in, where the king or the kingdom, they started giving it a value and made it into coins, right? So here also the challenge here was the whole of the currency system was overseen by a central authority, right? So, and the value of it, like for example, how much goods you get for that particular coins was also set right by the central authority. So that was that continued for some time. But then later on, paper money came because you cannot always carry gold coins and lot of gold coins along with you, right? So that's also a challenge, right? Even metal coins also, right? And that time metal coins were also huge. So it was a very big challenge back then, right? So then came in the paper money, which we call the fiat money. Then the digital money, where net banking and all those things came in. Then the cryptocurrency, right? So how many of you have understood till now, right? So the evolution of money, because this is going to be a very short session. We're not going to take it for long. So we'll keep it short. Okay. So it's going to be a 30 to 40-minute session, right? So how many have understood the evolution of money? Type E in the chat box, right? So let me also check if we have people on our YouTube. Yes, we have 8 people watching right now. Yes, you can go ahead and join on Zoom, right? People who agree with me, you can type in the comments, right? Great, amazing. Thanks, Fanny. Thanks, Rohan. It's great. Okay. So now what? Let's continue again. Okay. Then the evolution of money was there. After that, what happened is they came in the fiat currency, right? So we would discuss about this a little. Now, the notes came in. When the notes came in, there was no when there were metal coins. Each metal coin had its own value, right? So because it was made of metal, it had its own value. But when it was paper, like for example, now the value is a perception. For example, 100 rupee note or like a 200 rupee note or a 2000 rupee note is still paper only, right? So the value given to it is a perception. Like this is a higher value note and this is a 200 note, right? So the intrinsic value of metal was gone when the fiat currency came in, right? And what happened later on is earlier, all the currency that was there, that used to match whatever gold that particular kingdom or that particular country had. Later on, this asset backing was gone. So it was, the government or the regulatory authority could print as much as money, the fiat currency, right? It's not like metal you have to make or you are depending upon metal, right? So that was the challenge, and the lack of asset backing made the control in onto this central system itself, right? So the value of that was controlled by the central authority. Okay, so this was the challenge with the fiat currency. So, and also when online banking came in, it was prone to cyber attacks also, right? So you might have heard news at that moment, right? So how many of you agree that there are these challenges along, alongside the fiat currency or digital currency, right? Type me in the chat box. Yes, thanks, Rahul. Thanks, Aujanya. Thanks, Raja. Thanks, Roshni. Thanks, Funny. Great. Okay. So these are the challenges that are there because it was centralized, and a lot of times the value is given by the government, right? So we have seen the demonetization and all those things because it's all controlled by government. Okay. So then we want to understand something which is fungible. So towards the end of this particular session, there will be a quiz. We'll be sharing with you a link where you have to take up a quiz, right? So here I want to make you understand this simple 3 terms for today, which is fungible, fungible, what fungible means. For example, if I have a note of 10 rupees, you have a note of 10 rupees, it is valued same, right? So you can even exchange, right? So when that is there, that is called fungible. Okay. So that particular is fungible. And what is semi-fungible? For example, here the example taken is if you go to a concert or a movie ticket, you with the help of that ticket, you'll get access to that movie or the concert, but maybe the beginning seats will have a different value than the end seats. Okay. So they are exchangeable, but the value is slightly different or largely different. So that is semi-fungible. Non-fungible means everything represents unique, right? So that is called the non-fungible token or property of a non-fungible element, right? So, for example, now if I have something, let's just say, 1 kg of rice and you have 1 liter of water. Now, the value of both is different, right? So it is not equal, right? So both have a unique value here. So I'm just giving you an example to understand that. Great. So how many of you understood the concept of fungible? Fungible means identical. Semi-fungible means semi-identical. Non-fungible means unique. So that is, an easy rule of thumb. Yes. So how many have understood this particular portion? Type me in the chat box. Yes. Thank you so much. Thanks, Prashant. Thanks, Saurabh. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so now what happened in 2008? There was this financial crisis that started. So now how this was started, what triggered it, we'll understand about that. So in US, there is the Federal Reserve, which is also called the Fed. It started to give loans or the money at a lower interest rate to the commercial banks, and they started giving out loans to people who have a low credit score. Okay, so high risk customers. So now what happened with this is people were taking huge amounts of loan, right? So you can see that the subprime customers means that people who have a high risk profile, right? People who are not, credible, heavily credible, right? So the portion of those customers increased from 1.5% to 18%, which is more than 10 times jump, right? Just between 2006 and 7. So this was happening for a few years, and that sort of ended in 2008, right? So now what happened is there were bonds that were created, bonds as an investment instrument, where high risk assets and low risk assets like real estate, right, were bundled together and sold to others, right, to increase the inflow of investments. So now what this caused is more and more people taking loans and eventually not being able to pay back, right? So there is a detailed description of all of this also, but for now, to give you an understanding for the day one, we are going to understand this much, right? So this is how the crisis started, because the interest rate was controlled, the value of that money and how much to have the inflow in the economy was controlled by one single entity, which was the Federal Reserve. Okay, and that eventually caused the 2008 crisis, and this was a global crisis. Many people lost their jobs, many people lost their money, many countries lost their money, and there was a very big and huge financial turmoil, right? So now what happened? What caused this? The cause was the centralized control of currency, and that was the single point of failure, right? So that actually triggered, and many people were suffering because of this, right? Deeply, people who have an understanding of 2008 crisis know that it was a very huge thing, right? So now these were a few problems that were caused by this system. Then what happened just after an year? This was all being worked out. One group or one particular person came up with this system, which is not centralized. So that is the origin of the cryptocurrencies. Okay. So now there is a distinction between cryptocurrency and blockchain, right? So before that, I would want to understand, like, have you understood why there was a need for something that was not centrally controlled, why it has to be distributed, right? So how many have understood the need for something which is decentralized? Type me in chat box. Okay. Thanks, Rohan. Thanks, Roshni. Thanks, Gopal. Thanks, Giri. That's amazing. Okay. So you understood this, right? Now, okay. So people who have not understood, you can type N in the chat box. If you're not understood why decentralized, okay, no N's, that's it. Okay. Now, what we are doing here, we'll try to understand more about why this happened. So now this Bitcoin came into origin. Now cryptocurrency and blockchain both have different, both are different things. Cryptocurrency is something that is built over this blockchain system. Okay, Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is not equivalent to blockchain. Blockchain is like a very wider thing, right? Bitcoin is an application. Like, if internet is a wider thing, maybe one particular use case is, maybe social media, right? So access to Wi-Fi or something. But this is how the difference is. Bitcoin and blockchain are not equal. So that is something that you have to remember. So now this currency was decentralized and it was not controlled by anyone. And there was a paper that was published by an anonymous group or individual. The name was Satoshi Nakamoto, right? So this particular person or group, we do not know the identity of the person, because if the person was known, because this was a strong step against centralized system, it would have been troublesome for that person or group. So this was name Satoshi Nakamoto was a anonymous group, right? So that is the thing, and this started getting implemented from Jan of 3rd, 2009. Okay, Jan is coming, so we're close, right? So the first transaction that happened on this particular block, the message was the Times, 3rd Jan 2009, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. So basically, even after all of the crisis, 2008 crisis, banks were bailed out by the US government, though they were at fault, right? So this actually connects the Bitcoin to the origin of Bitcoin to the financial crisis, right? Somebody or a group of people were really upset about the decisions taken by a central authority. Okay, so that was the origin of cryptocurrency. How many of you understood this particular portion? People who are watching this on YouTube, you can join by clicking on the link and joining the Zoom, right? Great. So how many of you understood till now? Can someone unmute and share their experience? You understood this, you were not aware of this particular portion. Can somebody come on cam or say, share the result before and after this particular knowledge? You can even type in the chat box. Okay, you are unaware. Yes, 2008 was a very big thing. Great. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so we are here. And now what happened? What were these things that were being solved? So this cryptocurrency, there were no intermediaries involved, right? So these transactions could happen distributed, right? So remember, this is the actual thing that you need to actually remember. So this particular system is a distributor ledger system. Basically, what happens is, for example, right now we have on call, let's just say, Funny and Rohan and Siddhant. So if there's any transaction happening, everybody on that particular block is aware about what is happening, right? So the record of that particular transaction is with everyone. So there is full transparency in that particular transactions. Okay, let's just say every person who is there on this particular blockchain is called a node. Okay, so now what is a node? It could be a computer or a device that gets connected to this particular system and keeps portion of the ledger, which is the record of all of the transactions on that particular node. So what happens is, for example, if the transaction record on my node and Rohan's node is different, the system will know that there has been some tampering. So it is not easily, editable, or that is the property we called as immutable, or it is not changeable, right? So that is where the security portion of blockchain, the property, comes into picture. Okay, so this is a self-regulated system guided by its own protocol, and that protocol has been written by that group, and it started evolving, right? There is, because it is distributed, there is no single point of failure, and participants can mine, observe, and transact. Meaning, like for example, if you are connected to the block, you become a node, you can either mine. So now what is mining? Which is nothing but your computer validates and processes the transaction of the blockchain, right? So mining is nothing, but it's not like physical mining. It is the process of validating the transactions, right? So that is actually the mining. So you can mine or observe. You do not have to do anything if your system is connected. Even you can have a particular set of data, the transactions records on your node, so that you are helping the system right? Being more transparent, okay? Or even transact. I can send money to Rohan. Rohan can send it to Siddhant. So that is all possible, right? And everybody is aware of it, right? So this is what we call about the properties of immutable. And how do we save this particular transaction? This happens via a wallet. For example, if you're talking about cryptocurrency, we store these, the tokens. A token is nothing but anything that we exchange in, right? So we save this particular Bitcoin in a wallet, and this all of it is cryptographic. Means it is all key-based ownership, right? So there will be a private key, specific for Rohan's wallet, specific for my wallet, and it is secured by that. So, and it is really private, right? If somebody gets access to your private key, they will be able to know how much you have. They'll be able to transact, and they'll be able to also see the rest of the things that are there connected with your wallet, right? So this is peer-to-peer, which means when it is distributed, I'm connected to all of the people on the node, and each node is connected to me. And that is why it's called peer-to-peer. And how do we transact? We transact via this identifier or key. Okay. So I mean, this particular transaction is via an ID. Okay. So this is how this works. And that should be enough even for you to go ahead and do the day one quiz, right? The transactions are irrefutable, meaning they are not able, they cannot be changed. Even if there's a change, that will be identified and will not match on the other records, right? So the ownership of funds are proven using digital signature, meaning that your own private key, okay? So how many of you understood the properties of Bitcoin and what is this, why it is so secure, right? Okay, so Rohan says an example of a transaction. Basically, even if you are just talking about cryptocurrency itself, if I'm trying to transfer a little amount to you, when I transfer it to you, for example, I'm sending you 0.0005 Bitcoin, okay? Now, when I send it to you, you know that you have received money. I know that I've sent, but even other people know that this transaction happened. Now, this transaction, I'm talking about money, but in terms of blockchain, this particular transaction could be a message, it could be some other information, which is very transparent and everybody is aware about it. So I cannot say I've transferred you more than that, or you cannot say I've transferred you less, okay? And that is back traceable, right? Everybody can always know that this transaction happened from Sachi to Rohan, right? So I think that helps clear what could be a transaction. Right? Is that clear, Rohan?
If you could just give us an example of how the nodes are involved. So for example, if say a specific amount has been transferred or transaction happens, how does the data gets added to a block, and how many nodes are generally involved, and what is the significance? And when you say distributed ledger, so what is the role of every node the same, or if every node performs a different task?
Great. So I think it centrally revolves around the distributed ledger. Once I understand, once I explain that, all of your questions get answered, right? So now what is distributed ledger? For example, when I talk about node is each device or the person behind that device who's getting connected to this particular system. I think node is clear. Now, in central systems, what happens is, you are transacting via, all of your transaction is monitored by a bank or a bigger authority, right? Now here, the transaction is, taken note by all the people in this block, meaning all the nodes in the block. So what happens? Everybody is aware, like it's not like everybody knows that Sachi transferred something to Rohan, but if they want to see that what was the transaction, when did it happen, they'll be able to see that cryptographic data. It will be in zeros and ones, and we'll learn about that in our other upcoming days. But that particular data 0101 and all that kind of data is stored in this particular node. Node could be a device. For example, if it's my laptop that is getting connected, if I send any message or transaction to you, that is saved on my system, also on your system, and also on Panee's and Siddhant's and everybody's system, right? So later on, if there is any change or anything, everybody knows. So it is not monitored by one particular central authority, right? So that is what we mean by distributed nodes, and that is what an example of a transaction. We learn about that in the coming days, but I think this gives you a fair idea of what is a distributed network, right? What is the distributed ledger? Is that clear, Rohan? So basically, to connect to node, on blockchain, it is very easy, but it requires a few steps. You would go to blockchain.org and install that particular software, and you can just become a node. So there's no specific limit on how many nodes it could be, right? There's nothing like that. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Rohan. Okay, so let me share this link, okay, with everyone for the quiz for the day. Okay, let me also share this to our friends on YouTube. I'm sharing this on chat. So what I would request everyone is, when we take this quiz, take the screenshot of the end result and share it on the group that we are part of. And people who are on YouTube, share your views or top 3 learnings in the comment section. And if you want to join the group, it is filling fast. You can see that there's a WhatsApp group in the description. You can even join from there. Okay. So check if you are able to join if it's not full. Okay. So I've shared the link with everyone. And let me also share it on YouTube. Great. If you're watching, the link is in the chat. Okay. So once you take that particular quiz, go ahead and take the screenshot of it and put it on the group. So how many of you are clear or started understanding about blockchain? Type me in the chat box. Right? So how many of you thought that even the origin or the day one would have been complex? Right? It's easy, right? Great. So that is our intent towards the end of the this particular session. We wanted this to be very easy. We want to make this very easy, and especially these 5 days, it is structured in a way it will give you fair enough idea of what blockchain and the prospects for you to become a blockchain professional. Okay, so that is the major intent. And towards the 5th day, we have a graduation day where people who have been throughout with us for all of the 5 days, we will certify them about they understand the basics of the blockchain, and also you will know a little more about what are your prospects for blockchain and how can you get ahead, right? So I would also take this as an opportunity to tell that these particular 5 days are part of a bigger program, but this is absolutely free. This is a gift from Pixeltest. So how many of you want this gift for the next 5 days? Type me in the chat box. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Sham. Thanks, Arjunia. Thanks, Puju. Okay, that's great. So basically, this is absolutely free, but I would request everyone to, come as if it is paid by you, right? I would request only one thing in, exchange, which is I would come every day and, 100% committed. I would want the same kind of commitment from you. You come here with the same sincerity that you came today. Okay. So is that possible? If you promise that you will be here with the same sincerity that you are today, type me in the chat box. Thanks, Ritesh. Thanks, Vaishnavi. Thanks, Arjuna. Thanks, Saja. Okay, lots. Thanks, Fanny. Okay. So the schedule is going to be the same, Rohan. It is going to be 7 p.m. For all of the 5 days, even including the graduation day. So we are excited for the graduation day because you will have fair enough idea about blockchain. We'll also get into a little of technicality. The duration will be same, 30 minutes, right? So because the day one will be a little towards 40 minutes, but then every day it will be less. Okay, great. So we'll close with our exercise. Okay, so I would share my screen. And this is called the whole open technique for career. Okay. Okay, so let me know if my screen is visible, the white screen is visible for everyone. Great. Yes, we have on YouTube someone Abba Sahib saying I am 10 by 10. That's great. Okay. So this whole technique for career, you just have to repeat. We'll close after that immediately. Okay. So you're going to talk to your career here. You have to repeat after me. I am responsible for myself and my career. Yeah, please close your eyes. Relax. I'm really sorry, my dear career, for not taking care of you. I'm really sorry, my dear career, for not taking care of you. Please forgive me, my dear career, for not taking care of you. Please forgive me, my dear career, for putting so much stress on you. Please forgive me, my dear career, for not giving you enough time and practice. Thank you, dear career, in spite of all the situations, for fulfilling all my needs. Thank you, dear career, for fulfilling all your duties. Thank you so much. I know that I have not told you many times, dear career, I love you in your current situation and in any situation. Great. So open your eyes, rub your hands, and put that energy to your face. So how is everyone feeling? Great, awesome, calm, peaceful. Yeah, that's a very powerful technique, the Ho'oponopono technique. So we'll see each other again on day 2 tomorrow. So thank you so much for joining in and sharing the excitement. See you tomorrow and till the graduation day. Thank you so much. Fanny says coming. That's great. Okay, Fanny, see you tomorrow. Do remember to take the screenshot of the quiz. The link is shared with you. Thanks Rohan. And put that particular screenshot on the group. Okay, great. Thanks guys. Thanks everyone. Take care. Good night.